Right. I mean, also like for me, when I came over here first, I'm in the industrial automation world since I don't know 2000 basically,
Hmm.
and had spent the first 10 years of my career the first 4 years in research and development. Then I switched to industrial manufacturing. I worked for Caterpillar in Germany for over 10 years, and then I switched into the project side and integrator side. But like what was very very strange to me when I came over here was the amount of people that were just like plain overeducated, like in a production job, overeducated, but at the same time very unskilled, like without
Yeah,
because they were like electrical engineers with a bachelor's degree, but then they were standing there as a machine operator really not knowing what they're doing. So
right.
that for me that was a little bit of like a shock, because in Germany with this apprenticeship program, like everyone on the production level, right, they all have an apprenticeship, um mostly, right? Assembly
Hmm.
lines, it doesn't matter what it is. They all have an apprenticeship with very little exceptions, right? And then everything there's in the professional engineering suite, those are the ones with the bachelor degrees. And like back in the day, they had like were like diploma, like it was different. Like it was called differently in Germany. They didn't have
Yeah,
the bachelors and the masters. They had uh, the diploma engineer, whatever you want to call that in
yeah,
English. So that was a little bit of a shock for me. So, but if you look at it, um, production is running here too. It's not like, I mean, is it as effective? I don't know, but like it's running. It's not that you can say, oh, that system doesn't work. It's not perfect, but what system is?
yeah, exactly. So I feel like with the pandemic too, it showed us that not everything's going to come to a complete halt because it just can't.
It
So
can't.
we
Yeah.
really need to focus on, actually upskilling the current workforce. So I know there's a lot of conversations around, this next generation workforce because we have to fill these gaps, but we still have the current workforce that's working right now, especially with the older generations who are on their way out. So we need to somehow maintain the knowledge that they have because it's still important, it's still vital, and then get them to collaborate with the current generation that's still like millennials, and then, get them connected to the younger generations, to the Gen Zers that are coming in, so that they can have talks with each other and the Gen Zers can get that knowledge that the baby boomers have, and we're not losing all of that, and
Yeah.
documenting it some way as well too, because I don't think a lot of companies are doing a very good job documenting their processes.
No.
And in order for us to keep up with all of the digitization that's going on, we need to start doing that so that we have an archive of information that we
It's.
can look back on and
I
measure our
mean,
processes and
that was
success that way.
that was exactly one of the reasons I started my company. It's
Hmm.
we were offering customized training solutions, meaning like we come in, we develop trainings, especially on your equipment, right? You tell us what is the ideal outcome or what is the ideal process, the standard operating procedures, bringing into a video and then putting it on a learning platform where you know people not only have the ability to like access the content at any time, especially when we're talking about manufacturing places that run 24/7, right?
Yeah,
You always have the problem that if a line is down on the night shift, for example, you know that is becoming a big problem because the night shift guy might not know all the tricks there to like get the line back up running. So if our customers would all have the same you know accountability tools in place and all the learning material on their platform, where someone on the night shift could just dial in and say, okay, is this project or is this problem I have why the line is down already a part of the library, the problem library I have for this particular machine, can look it up and solve the problem, and the line will be down less. Also, it's a huge accountability tool for HR and management, because they can see, okay, um, if the problem was already part of the library and the guy or girl didn't fix the problem, then why was that, right? Not like
yeah,
blaming anyone from the get-go, but like seeing, okay, where's the disconnect, why wasn't that solved? Do we have to put more training into place? And that's exactly what you say. Generations will fade out, right? Very soon. It's happening by the thousands every day. You know,
Yeah.
and the generation of the so-called baby boomers is a very special one because they
Yeah.
are still running most of everything, right? They're the most small businesses are owned by baby boomers. The most people in trade jobs are baby boomers. The most people um in manufacturing are baby boomers, and we're
Hmm.
losing them by the tens of thousands every
Yeah.
month. And there's right now there's no replacement. I also don't know exactly how this is going to work out in the long run when really like that generation is totally out, but they're not dead, right? They're still
Right.
consuming, meaning like we still have the same amount of goods that have to be produced, but we just don't have the people to like fill in those positions, right? Like
Yeah.
for two reasons. One, we just don't have the number, right? And then two, the skill set isn't there because everyone went to school, like like over educating themselves with like degrees no one really needs, right? I don't know how many, yeah, really, like those boutique degrees, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's great, you want to go and study like American history. That's great, but like, do you have a job?
Right.
Is there enough demand for that type of degree, right? And that,
Right.
I think, is like a lot of people that went to school, especially younger millennials, but now like the Gen Z generation is soon getting into that, or into that situation where they now have to decide what they want to do with their lives, right? And
Yeah.
now they have the opportunity, um easy, something that they like, or something that is needed in the world, right?
Right.
So, and then it's our job, like our generation's job, or like our industry's job, to show them a way to, hey, we actually need you here. This is what we
Yeah.
can do for you. This is what we need you to do for us. This is why
Yeah.
you do this, right? There's a lot of purpose in the manufacturing industry. You know,
Yeah. I
just
don't
like,
I don't I don't think companies are doing a very good job at being proactive in terms of connecting with the next generation. And I feel like with the group that I'm part of, so I'm part of a group called the Manufacturing Mafia, and it's a bunch of influencers and subject matter experts who get together. We have a chat group on LinkedIn, and we talk about like the latest and greatest trends in manufacturing, where some of the road bumps are, and what we can do to kind of bring awareness to those challenges. And it's one of the same things that we talk about every day. Like we have this skills gap, and a lot of manufacturers are like, oh, we just can't find people. But then when we ask them, okay, but what are you doing personally to get in front of the next generation? How are you investing back into your community? Are you actually going in front of these kids and educating them, or trying to inspire them? Are you talking with the teachers within your community? Are you connected to the other educational institutions within your community? Are you donating any components? Are you investing in like first robotics teams? Are you setting up mentor programs? Are you inviting them into your facility and setting up tours? Well, no, we're not doing any of that. Well, then you're going to continue to have a problem until you yourself go in front of the next generation and have these conversations with them. And the next generation wants to have these conversations, but they don't know who's available to talk to them. So one
right,
of the things that I like to try doing is when I go to a trade show, I'll try to find a sponsor for a bus to bring kids to that trade show if it's within the area, or I'll try to create content and send it to the teachers at the high schools that I graduated from, and like tell them, hey, do you want me to come in and have conversations with your kids? Are any of your kids looking for apprenticeship programs or internships? Yes, they are. So then I'll try to connect those students directly with somebody that I think can inspire them or mentor them in whatever discipline they're looking into. So it's not that hard to do. I just think it's, everybody's saying, well, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do it.
that's
So we have
exactly
to
right.
change that attitude and say, we'll make time. Because a lot of companies spend a lot of money on digital ads. Like I'm from that space. That's where I started. So I know how much print ads and digital ads cost. if you can just like shift that budget a little bit and reinvest it into your community, like your VOTech programs at the high school level, or even starting something at the elementary and middle school level, I think the ROI will be a lot better in terms of,
Yeah.
generating that next generation workforce. So
Also
I
coming back
yeah.
to, what we talked about earlier, like the yes, the manufacturing world, and doesn't matter which industry of manufacturing they're in, they all want to be very professional and very serious about everything. And but like, if we're talking about, influencing people to come work for you, right, or influencing a whole generation to come and, like, learn a trade rather than go to college and then not having a job or still have to work at Starbucks, right? um you know those generations, like the people, they're like, on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on, Facebook, maybe not so much anymore, but like all those other platforms, they come up and down or whatever. it the we I had a presentation the other day where I was sitting in front of, I would say, like 20 or so German executives here in the United States that run companies here, and we were talking about marketing, right? um,
Hmm.
and we rely heavily on content marketing on YouTube as well as on LinkedIn, in
Hmm.
groups, in, like I said, on we have a learning platform on YouTube. And they were like, well, that's just not for us. I was like, why are you saying that? Why do you think marketing on Facebook is not for you? Do you think the people that you sell to are not on Facebook? They're like, well, not like that. I was like, yeah, they speak a different language on Facebook than they do on LinkedIn, for example. Because on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
most people go there for business only, right? On
Right.
Facebook, people are there on their private time, but they're still there, right?
Right.
The same was like influencing Gen Z, the Gen Z generation, or like young millennials, before they make up their mind to go to one school or another, like take one route or another in their life. You know, those people you will not find them on LinkedIn, not yet.
Right.
They will be there eventually, but like, you have to, have to grab their attention way before they even make up their mind, right? Way before they reach high school, they're already on all those platforms.
Hmm.
And then if you
Right.
educate them in a way where it's like, hey, you know what, the manufacturing industry is actually fun. Here's what you can all learn. It's like super advanced technology. We're playing around with robots, we're playing around with like PLCs, where, streamlining everything, optimizing everything, that everything gets cheap so you can afford it. That's something where, you give people a lot of purpose, right? Without manufacturing, there's not going to be anything. So,
Right.
and if we get the point across to the younger generations that, coming into the manufacturing industries, no matter what it is, cars, food,
Hmm.
beverages, doesn't matter, pharmaceuticals, everyone needs, medications, and everyone needs a car, everyone needs food. Those
Yeah.
manufacturing and production lines, they're essential for our society to survive at this point. And also, like, to survive on this like level of convenience that we have here
Hmm.
in the Western